Dear friends, 15 years ago I have found the World Holocaust Forum due to a strong belief that through the leaders, through political leadership of the world, we can create a change. And I'm really grateful and admire President Rivlin for his wise vision and active support of the idea to lead the World Holocaust Forum number 5 in Jerusalem on the platform of Yad Vashem. If world leaders convene every year in Davos to discuss financial status and in Munich to discuss security status and so on, they should also convene to discuss moral status of the world, to examine the situation of civil societies and work together to address threats and dangers. 4 forums were held to date, 2 in Poland, Ukraine, and Czech Republic, bringing together the majority of the world leaders. And I am proud to hold the 5th forum finally in the capital of Jewish state. The Holocaust marks the lowest point humans can reach, lower than animals. This lowest point in human behavior and moral status took place in what we thought was a modern and civilized world. I'm a strong believer that the Holocaust and the waging anti-Semitism that preceded it were the reason and the catalyst for the world's greatest catastrophe ever in the history, the World War II. The lower the world's moral status is, the greater the risk of the global catastrophe, and this is why the level of anti-Semitism in the world should be used as a moral barometer, and the Holocaust should be remembered as a lesson that should never be forgotten. This is what makes it relevant not to Jews, but to the entire world and its leaders. This pledge to remember and never forget should be global and not Jewish. This pledge to fight anti-Semitism and to ensure never again should be an international pledge and not a Jewish one. As the President of the European Jewish Congress, I can sadly inform you today that 75 years after the Holocaust, Jewish life in Europe is under threat. Here in Israel, you hear from time to time of terrorist attacks against Jewish centers and synagogues. But I'm speaking about day-to-day situation of harassments and anti-Semitic attacks in the streets, in schools, universities, and the internet and social media. This day-to-day situation has led to a situation where more than 80% of European Jews feel unsafe in Europe. 81 years ago, the leaders of the world met in Evian to try and find solutions for the great danger they all saw approaching the Jews. And this meeting ended up with no agreement and no result. This inability to unite in front of the waging anti-Semitism and threat to Jews paved the way to the Holocaust and World War II. We will be gathering on the 23rd of January not only to remember the past, but to conduct self-examination regarding where we are today, where the world is with regard to its moral barometers. Like then, so is today if world leaders join together to defeat evil, to stand together and fight anti-Semitism, then we can promise a safe world to all mankind. But with this self-examination, we would like to be practical, as well as to ask world leaders for concrete actions against anti-Semitism, and here are few examples be adopted by all countries. France adopted very strong legislation against Holocaust denial during the 1990s, and later on added legislation against boycotts of people and products based on nationality, confronting the new type of anti-Semitism, the delegitimization of the Jewish state. Germany adopted a law 2 years ago against hate speech online to address the biggest and most challenging platform of anti-Semitism and racism, the internet. Great Britain is a model how to effectively respond to anti-Semitism and created a task force which combines the law enforcement agencies, the legal institutions, and civil society organizations to effectively coordinate information and action against this phenomena. These are just examples for measures that should be adopted by all countries, which should be generalized. I would like to use this opportunity to thank all the many leaders who already confirmed their participation, and together we will prevail evil. I want to tell you, my dear colleagues, that you should have very strong expectations about this coming event, because it will be a strong synergy between spiritual and content part of this event. Thank you very much.